Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome for the Bhakti Shastri class on every Saturday. So last time we were on 13th chapter, shloka number 23. We'll be, continuing with shloka number 24. Before that, we'll quickly do Mangalacharan. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuttapadakamala Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Tadvaitam Sarvadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschatadeshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे So, dear devotees, welcome for the class and thank you so much for joining in and giving your valuable time for the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So, we were at shloka number 23. So, let me just quickly give you uh, a recap of what is exactly happening in this particular chapter 13 because there was a gap of 1 week. So Arjuna in the beginning of this chapter is asking 6 questions about Prakriti, Purusha, Kshetra, Kshetragnya, Jnanam and Gnayam. And then Krishna is describing the Kshetra, Kshetragna and Jnanam. And then he's saying that Jnanam has 24 elements. Okay. And these 24 elements of knowledge that are there to acquire this then requires humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, and these qualities are required for gaining this because uh, these are some of the characters or the aspects of a person who is very saintly and this person can easily help himself detangle from his material body when immediately he has these beautiful qualities as such. And then Krishna is describing that who is, see, Gnanam is all these qualities, but Gnayam is what? Who is that object of knowledge? And the soul and the super soul are the objects of knowledge. And then, he described about the qualities of the super soul and where he says that his hands and legs are everywhere and sarvata pani padam tat sarvato kshiro mukham and sarvata shrutimal loke. His ears are everywhere, his eyes, head, face, everywhere. His senses are the source of everything. All those qualities of the, super soul were described. And after that, we came to the Prakriti, Purusha, and their union. This particular section we came to. And we're just about to end this particular section where he says that the super soul is the real Purusha. Wherever the Lord is actually saying Purusha, then the super soul is the real Purusha, and anybody who knows these three things, Prakriti, Purusha, and the three gunas, okay, then that person will attain liberation. This is what being said in this particular shloka. So he says that य एवं वेत्ति पुरुषं प्रकृति च गुणे सह सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि न स भूयो अभिजायते. One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of material nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. Now, if you see, very interestingly, Krishna has given this assurance even in the fourth chapter, if you all know. Janma karma chame divyam evam yovi tyaktata. Tyakta deham punarjanma neti mametu swarjana. He doesn't have to, anybody who knows my birth and my activities will not take birth again. And this is the assurance of the Supreme Lord that time and again he is giving us assurances that don't worry, if you understand this, you will never take birth again. If you understand this, you will never take birth again. So over here he is saying that ya em veti purusham. So one who knows, or one who comes to know, one who comes to know whom, one who comes to know this Purusham, and one who comes to know this Prakriti cha gune saha. Saha means with, okay. And he's saying that along with these modes. Then he's saying that sarvatha vartamano api. Then in all situations, he's saying na sa bhuyo abhijayate. Such a person will not take birth again. So if you see, the point conveyed over here is na sa bhuyo abhijayate. Why one will not take birth again? Because one will understand the real life is beyond his existence. It is transcendental. And once someone will understand that, okay, this life is much more exciting than the movie, then one will stop watching the movie, right? So right now, the conditioned souls are actually watching movie. They do not know the real life is beyond this material existence. So even if you see in Srila Prabhupada's purport also, he says that the purpose of knowledge is to understand distinctly that the living entity has by chance fallen into this material existence. And by personal endeavor, in the association with authorities, saintly persons, and the spiritual master, he has to understand his position and then revert to spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness by understanding the Bhagavad Gita as it is explained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then he's saying that then it is certain that he'll never come again into mortal existence. He will be transferred to the spiritual world for a blissful eternal life of knowledge. So the essence and the purpose of knowledge is to understand that we have entangled in this matter and we have to disentangle ourselves from matter. So let's go to the next shloka. So there are some other methods also being given, that how some different people, see. So there are some other methods saying that ध्यानेन आत्मनि पश्यन्ति केचित् आत्मनम् आत्मना अन्ये सांख्येन योगेन कर्मयोगेन चापरे. Some perceive the supersoul within themselves through meditation, others through the cultivation of knowledge, and still others through working without fruitive desires. So now Krishna will tell us that now Krishna will talk about means by which we can come out of the entanglement of this matter. So Krishna just said in the previous sloka that you have entangled yourself and you need to detangle yourself. Now, how to detangle, he's going to tell us. So you see, many times I always feel whenever I'm reading these shlokas or purports, or even Srila Prabhupada's purports are there, or even the translations as such, that who can be so merciful? And if you see, Krishna is very motherly also. It's not that he's just fatherly, but he has that compassion of a mother also, that when he gives what is the problem, he's giving the solution also. It's not like that he just identifies the problem with the living entities and then he does not give us a solution. He's identifying the problem, and the very next step he says he's giving us the solution also. So this verse he has talked about three means. Okay, and in the next verse he'll talk about one more method. So he over here he's saying that dhyanena atmani, pashyanti. So atmani pashyanti means what? If you see the translation, he says that one will pursue the inner reality, one will see the inner reality, right? And what is that inner reality? That yes, I am Atma. I am I am the soul. Okay. And then he's saying that Kechid Atmanam Atmana. Kechid means some people, right? Or uh, some other people, you can say. And then he's saying Atmanam Atmana. So here the word Atma has come, right? And uh, and if you see uh, Atmani, Atmanam, Atmanam, and Atmana, three times, this word Atma has come, right? So all these three Atmas, they are referring to three different things. So if you see, the first Atma is referring to, yourself, ourself. And the second Atma is referring to the super soul. And the third Atma is referring to the mind. Right? So, Srila Prabhupada does not use the word mind directly, but he uses the word meditation. Right? So, it is saying that through meditation, dhyanena, by concentrating and directing the mind, Atmana, inwards, andar ki taraf. I always say, put yourself inwards. And then saying, Kechit, some people, and he's saying Pashyanti. Pashyanti means to see, right? So what will they be able to see? They'll be able to see Atmani. Firstly, they'll be able to see within the soul one's inner world. Within the soul means अपने आत्मा में जब वो झांक कर देखेगा, when he will look inside, he will see that I have an inner world. And what will they see? Atmanam. They will see the super soul inside them. So if you see, the point is that one way of illuminating the inner world is to meditate. आई एम इल्यूमिनेटिंग, मतलब मैं अपने when हिंदी में यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड, मैं अपनी अंतर आत्मा को जागृत करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, लाइक so illuminating the inner world by what? Meditation or dhyanena. By meditation, in meditation we turn the mind inwards and we observe the reality. We will see the atma, we will see even the Paramatma also. We will see both are sitting side by side. And, if you see in the 6th chapter also, Krishna has talked about Dhyan Yoga and how how it is culminated on the yogi namapi sarvesham madgatarantaratmanaha. So there are others who do this by Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga Subhai means analysis of 24 elements, and conscious is not present in any of them, and I am none of them. Then one goes, beyond these 24 elements and the 25th element, and then finally goes to the 26th element. So he's saying that karma yogena chapare, and some people use karma yoga. So Krishna is saying that these are the methods by which one can perceive the super soul within. And so one is dhyanena, one is sankhya yogena, and one is karma yogena. These are the three methods. Okay. And if you see Srila Prabhupada's purport um, over here, mm, huh. And there are others who cultivate Hatha Yoga system and who try to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead by childish activities. So, even previously also I have discussed that Ashtanga Yoga process is the initial stage where the yogi, he focuses on physical gymnastics. It is often, said that Hatha Yoga is like physical gymnastics. When it is focused more on an inner exploration, then it is called Dhyana Yoga. So from Hatha Yoga to Dhyana Yoga. But overall, the three things, the Ashtanga Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Hatha Yoga, these are actually referred to as a process of yoga. So here, Srila Prabhupada, what is he trying to say? That the initial process is Hatha Yoga. So, sometimes children play and, I can do something, can you do it? बोलते मैं ये कर सकता हूँ, मैं शीर्षासन कर सकता हूँ, and I can, do chakrasan, or I can balance myself very nicely. So, like that, many people see yogis when they do physical gymnastics or some other mystic things, like, he just does like this, and then some ashes come out from his hand, and then people become very much impressed by, such a yogi. But, uh, but this getting over impressed by seeing something which others can do and I cannot do, it becomes actually ultimately childish. But we cannot satisfy the Lord by these childish activities. One has to go beyond the siddhis, and all his searches of God, that is there, he's trying to find the Supreme Lord in very different ways, but he has to go somewhere. So in all the paths, there are definitely some or the other distractions are there. And in yoga path, it is the siddhis which are distracting. Ye siddhi mili, wo siddhi mili. So this verse is in general an informational sense. After describing this, Krishna will now recommend that which is the best process other than the karma yoga, dhyana yoga, and sankhya yoga or hatha yoga. He's going to say that bhakti is the best process, and you can start this process by Shravanam, that is hearing. So let's see the next. Yeah, so this is the one. So he says that Anyetvam eva ajyantam श्रुतावानेभ्य उपासते ते अपि चातिर चा sorry ते अपि चातितर अन्यति एव मृत्युम श्रुति parayanaha. He says that again there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. And because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. So another option, like, okay, uh, when you get this knowledge, you're not going to, take birth again and again. And he says that, अन्ये तव एवं अज्ञानतः. So, others who do not know all this, Agyanta means without any, Agyanta means only anybody who does not have spiritual knowledge, right? And then he's saying, Shrutava Anyabhyah. So, Shrutava Anyabhyah Upasate. So, by hearing from others, they start worshipping the Supreme Lord. Te apicha atitaranti. So, Atitaranti means they will go beyond, or they're going to transcend the three modes, or transcend this material nature. And then he's saying that Mrutyum Shruti Parayanaha. So this path of death that is there, okay, how are they going to transcend this path of death? They're going to transcend this path of death by doing Shravanam Parayanaha. So they're going to uh, pass this being dedicated to the process of hearing. So if you see, if you see, we have many times heard this word Narayana Parayana. Narayana Parayana means those who are completely devoted to Lord Narayan. And if you see, even in the 16th chapter now, if you see, it will come that Kama Krodha Parayana, those who have given up themselves to this Kam and Krodha, they are more inclined towards Kam and Krodha, like that. So now Krishna has given the word Shruti Parayana, those who love hearing. And here Shruti talks about hearing and not Shruti Shastra. It is Shruti about whom? About the Supreme Lord. So Krishna has talked about going beyond even Shruti. Atitaranti, go beyond also that. So those who are strongly situated in the transcendental path, and whatever they hear from the literature or the Shrutis, if it is about Karma Kand, it will not disturb them because they understand that there is a higher reality. So if you see this word Shruti that is there, it is specially referring to Shruti of what? Shruti of the Shastras or the scriptures, and which is talking about Karma Kanda. But another word of Shruti could refer to the function of hearing, and especially if you see many times Srila Prabhupada has said that Shravanam in terms of hearing about Krishna. So, if you see the effect of Shruti means it is to go beyond his material existence. So this is definitely not referring to the Shruti of Karma Kanda. It is talking about Shruti in terms of Shravanam. And Shravanam जो है वो सिर्फ भगवान के बारे में ही है. So he's saying that Shruti Parayana, one who is attached to hearing, then what will happen to that person? So Krishna is saying that about these people that they do not know all these complications about what is Prakriti and what is Purusha and the technicalities of all these because, you know, Ajyantaha, all these spiritual, knowledge. But Shrutva, they just hear. Ananya Bhena. Ananya means from others. So this word Ananya has come actually, um, twice. How? Over here also Ananya Bhena, and here also Ananyaha. Hai na? So it is not the same. So because the first Anye, when it comes in contrast with the earlier, the previous slok, it was there Kechid, right? Some people practicing Dhyan Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Karma Yoga, but others are there who do this hearing, and within this hearing, they hear from others. And this is referring to others means only spiritual authorities. So he's saying that Shrutvanebhyo upasate. Then after hearing, what they are doing is upasana. And when you say upasana, begin to worship. So um, uh, if you see this upasana is actually a central feature of bhakti. So it is not just about hearing, but hearing and there is transformation happening. Worshipping the supreme reality. That is actually happening. And that is why they're saying that te apicha atiranti. And they will also go beyond what? They will transcend mrutyum. They will transcend the path of death also. So sometimes, this 13th chapter, somebody might really get overwhelmed. Like, I'm sure that the last time or the previous time, the first time when I started explaining, from the first shloka of this chapter, somebody must have just got overwhelmed by, all these technicalities and must be thinking that, what is all this, I thought that Krishna conscious would be very simple, just chant and go back home, back to Godhead. So even in Gyan section, Krishna is reassuring us. See, of course, this is the whole Gyan section. Chapters 13 to 18 are the full Gyan sections, right? And even in the Gyan section also, Krishna is giving us an assurance over here that, no, even if one is agyantaha, one hears and one starts worshipping about the Supreme Lord, uh, and about which we heard, then by that he can attain this supreme destination, and one can even transcend this path of birth and that, or the cycle of birth and death. So now if you see, there is the next section actually coming up, and that's the Gyan Chakshu section. So going to put all this together, and then we're going to have this Jnana Chakshu. So let's see the next shloka. Hmm. So if you see, till now, Krishna has finished explaining about all the 6 questions that Arjuna has asked, Kshetra, Kshetragnya, Jnanam, Gneyam, Purusha, Prakriti. But now in the remaining shlokas, he's going to elaborate more on whatever he has explained previously. So he's saying that uh, mm, he's saying that यावत् संजायते किंचित सत्वं सथावरा जंगमम क्षेत्र क्षेत्रज्ञ संयोगात् तद्विधि भारत वर्षभ. O chief of the Bharatas, know that whatever you see in existence, both moving and non-moving, is only a combination of the field of activities and the knower of the field. So here he is saying that oh, because actually you can say that after explaining all Kshetra, Kshetragna, Purusha, Prakriti and everything, actually this particular section Krishna is offering like a bonus to us, bonus section, where Krishna is offering us some Jnana Chakshu. Jnana Chakshu means the eyes of knowledge, where we can see the reality beyond and how it appears at a material level of perception. So he's giving us a very, and please, we should not think that, okay, this Gyan Chakshu is only for the elevated devotees. No, the Gyan Chakshu is for everybody. One who wants to really seriously take it up to that Gyan Chakshu, any one of us can actually get that Gyan Chakshu. So, he's going to now explain all of these, fixing together. So he's saying that, uh, tad vidhi, he's saying just know from me, okay, that, so what is that? He's saying that Bharat Barsha, best of the Bharatas, you should know this. Okay. So because he's an Indian and he's born in Bharatvarsh, he's saying that you should specially know this. Now, if you see, uh, Prabhupada also many times has said in his lecture that, India has failed in its duty for spreading the knowledge, or Bharat Bhumi te hoile janma sarthak kari kar par upakar. So all this responsibility is being given to the Indians as such. But Krishna is giving that responsibility to the Indians as such. So he's saying that Yavat Sanjayate Kinchit. Yavat Sanjayate means whatever is existing, Sanjayate. Sanjayate means it is coming into existence or comes into existence. And he's saying Kinchit, even the smallest of it, Chota bhi, Kinchit. And he's saying that Sattvam Sathavara Jangamam. He's saying that the existence which may be moving or non-moving, whether it is a moving thing or a non-moving thing, right? So he's saying that Kshetra Kshetragnya Samyogata. So it all comes by the contact of Kshetra, the body, Kshetragna, the one who is the knower of the body, and some yoga. So the contact of the knower of the field and the field itself. The field is what? The body. And the knower of the field, Kshetragna, right? And then he's saying that, Krishna is telling that the varieties of this world can be reduced to, fundamentals. Like, whatever I see in this world is a combination of Kshetra and Kshetragnya, the field and the knower of the field. So, if you see this Gyan Chakshu that is there, this is me. Yeah, so this Gyan Chakshu, it is enabling us to deeply, or you can say more seriously, more maybe lovingly, and ultimately when we see Krishna, then we see him very lovingly. But before that, we see them more, dispassionately. We want to become detached from these material things, and with the spiritual things, we want to become attached. So, this should bring us to an equal vision, Vigyan, because beyond Kshetra and Kshetragna, there is the supreme Kshetragna, and that will come later. Because maybe, I only know my body. In fact, fully bhi nahi janti मैं. But Krishna, he knows everybody's body. What is happening in everybody's mind, what is happening in everybody's stomach, and what is happening in everybody's bodily system as such. So this is what he's trying to say. Okay, let's see the next. So over here he's trying to say, the next shloka is going to say that the true seer's vision of Paramatma. In the Subodhini, they have titled it that way. They're saying that anybody's who has a vision to see, so what is he truly seeing, right? So he's saying that समम सर्वेषु भूतेषु तिष्ठन्तं परमेश्वरं विनश्य विनश्यस्तस्व अविनश्यन्तं यः पश्यति स पश्यति. One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, he's actually seeing. Very nice, the shloka is. That is, he's saying, Pashyan apina pashyati. So he's saying that samam means, equally. Sarveshu bhuteshu, one who is seeing all living beings equally. Whether it is a, tree, or whether it is a hog or a dog or a human being or a fish or a bird, anything as such, And he's saying that uh, Tishtantam Parameshwaram, one who is seeing the Parameshwar or the Ishwar who is Parama, Param Ishwara, Ishwar jo Param hai, right? No? So if you see, all our acharyas also have said this particular shloka in very different ways. And Prabhupada is mentioning that Parameshwar is referring to the Supreme Lord. And Jiva because Param also because he's transcendenting. So like Para and Apara, like that. So they see that transcendental Lord, he is situated in all living entities. And they see themselves also transcendental. So, see, Arjuna, no, he was concerned about his relatives, right? So, he's saying that, they are also, the Lord is transcendental and they are also transcendental, but they don't know. They are covered by the three modes of material nature. And that is why he's saying that, uh, Vinashyatu. Vinashyatu means what? Avinashatyam. You should see that they are not these bodies and they are the souls. And yaha pashyati sa pashyati. So one who sees like this, they are the true seers. So see, when you see, he is destructible and he's indestructible. He's situated in the destructible bodies. Just give me 1 minute, okay? There's some call coming in.
हरे कृष्ण माता जी मी आले होते खाली गेटच्या तिथे
हाँ एक सेकंड ना मी जरा दार उघडते. Just give me 1 minute. There's one of my students coming. So let's go to the next shloka. See, we hear what he's saying, okay? But there are others who interpret this Parameshwar to be the super soul. In either case, both the super soul and the individual soul continue. They are not destroyed. And one who can see this, can see in this way, can actually see what is happening. Okay. So then over here, he's saying that if somebody is saying with a very, he's saying he has this true vision of or a mature vision, then what will happen? What will be the result of such a vision? So he's saying that samam pashyan hi sarvatra samam avasthitam ishwaram na hinnastya manam sorry na hinnas Yatyatmanan atmanam tato yati paragati param gatim. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere in every living being does not degrade himself by his mind. And thus he approaches the transcendental destination. So, see what he's saying that he's saying that samam pashyan hi sarvatra. In this way, one who sees who everywhere equally, he sees the Paramatma, he sees the Paramatma in every living entity. And then Samasvitam Ishwaram. Now he's seeing the Ishwar situated in every living entity equally. Right? So now Hinastan Atmanam. So he's saying that therefore there will be no, so if you see the translation over here, uh, Hinasti, he does not degrade himself. There is no degradation. There is degradation means he's not going to push himself down, or he's not going to put himself to the lower, he's not going to uh, uh, get attracted with the lower modes, right? So degradation is not going to happen as such. So, then he's saying that Atmana Atmanam. Atmana means by the mind also or by the soul also. He's not going to degrade himself either with the mind or with the soul also. And then he's saying Tata Yati Param Gatim. So when one is not degraded, then he will attain that supreme destination, that transcendental destination. So if you see, हमारा जो material vision ही है, it is causing problems. Whatever material vision we have, we see, okay, he's like that and she's like that, and this is a hog and this is a dog, and that material vision only is actually the cause of problem, and it makes us hold all those grudges against others. So that material vision is only causing those anarthas. दूसरों में दोष देखना, to see bad in others, or to see some fault in others, that is only the main cause of anarthas. If we are seeing everybody as a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, then the problem only finishes here. So then these that contaminated vision that we have, that is only the cause of that degradation of the soul. So that is why I saying Atmana Atmanam. So the soul is degraded by what? The soul is degraded by this Atmana, by the mind. And see, Krishna's focus is actually more on the vision and its effects on our destination, right? So that is why he's saying that the Ishwar who is situated in all living beings. He's saying that sama vastitam. He is situated in all the living entities. So, so sometimes another person may be acting because of being in Mahamaya, but a devotee will see it from spiritual vision. He will see it from the Yoga Maya, and he will get benefited. Like, Parikshit Maharaj, when he got a curse, he's seeing it from, he's seeing it that this is the arrangement of the Lord. And even Vidura, when Duryodhana is actually giving those bad words, Vidura is taking the bad words of Duryodhana, and he immediately left the kingdom before the war. So, this devotional reinterpretation of this event is very vital for our spiritual advancement. Like many times we must have experienced somebody, किसी ने हमें कुछ कटाव कहा होगा, or there might be reversals in our life, or there might be challenges in our life. What has happened with us? We have intensified our devotional activities. We have intensified our surrender to the Lord more than previously. So that is why sometimes, uh, when there are challenges, there are reversals, there are hurdles, there are setbacks. The devotee, what he does is he will intensify his devotional activities more. So when he's intensifying his devotional activities more means which what? He's acting from the Yoga Maya platform. Mahamaya se nahi. Agar मान लो, for example, there are two people, okay? One person has got, both have got the same reversal in life. दोनों की मदर इन लॉज जो है उनको बहुत ही अत्याचार कर रही है उन पे. दे लाइक मदर इन लॉज, सॉरी आई एम जस्ट लाइक गिविंग वन सिंपल एग्जांपल. Mother in laws are not like that, but just an example. If you see in the Bollywood movies, the mother in laws have been portrayed only that way. Nowadays mother in laws, they are not that way, because they are also educated, and they also have a broader vision as such. So two of them have, but what will happen with one person who is not sufficiently surrendered to the Supreme Lord, or sufficiently he does not have that vision. He will actually move away from Krishna consciousness. He will say, oh yaar, I came to Krishna consciousness because I thought that I will get rid of all these problems and all. But because he's seeing from a Mahamaya perspective. But over here is a person, again he has a reversal in his life, and he's got challenges, but he's saying that, okay, this challenge has come to me, let me surrender myself more to the Supreme Lord. So now this particular person is seeing from a Yog Maya perspective. Okay, this challenge has come, this reversal has come, this setback has come to me. I think I should intensify my devotional activities more of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaran. So often we let small things become very big because we see them very negatively. But when we see that, Krishna, or over here when the word Ishwaram has come, Ishwar is the controller of everything, because the word Ishwar means only controller, right? So, uh, and we see that uh, when he is the controller, and he may allow certain things to happen in a very certain way, but there will always be an opportunity to go deeper in our relationship with Krishna in all situations. Somebody might say very bad about you, or somebody might just blaspheme you, or somebody might just say on face, behind the back, anything. But every time if I say that, no, here is an opportunity to dive deeper into my relationship with Krishna, because my ultimate relationship, my real relationship is only with Krishna and not with anybody over here. My eternal relationship is with Krishna only. And all these people around me, they are all temporary in this lifetime ke liye ye. They might not be in your next lifetime, or they were not there in your previous lifetime. So with this attitude, or with this vision, we will always be Krishna conscious, and we'll always take it that yes, here is an opportunity for me to serve Krishna, and if I serve Krishna in this way, then I will get this param gati. I will attain that, supreme destination, the transit destination. And that is why, if you see, Prabhupada in his purport also, he said that he doesn't, where is it? Yeah. He does not degrade himself by destructive mentality, and he therefore gradually advances to spiritual world. अपनी मेंटालिटी को डिस्ट्रक्टिव नहीं करता है वो क्या करता है, उसको कंस्ट्रक्टिव करता है. The opposite of destructive is constructive. So he goes into a constructive mode. Okay, this reversal has come to me. Let me surrender more. Let me chant more. And that's how, he takes this, his reversals and, difficulties as such. Like, okay, let's go to the next shloka. Of course, I'll be ending this chapter today itself for sure. Huh. Again, what is his vision about the Jiva and Prakriti? This is being mentioned over here. So let's see. प्रकृतैव च कर्माणि क्रियमाणानि सर्वश यः पश्यति तथात्मनम् अकर्तारं च पश्यति. He's saying that one who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and he sees that the self does nothing, actually sees. आत्मा कुछ नहीं कर रही है, सब कुछ क्या कर रहा है, शरीर कर रहा है. This is what it's trying to say, that. So over here, what is he saying? That prakrite cha karmani. So that karam or that karma is performed, or that particular activity is performed by whom? It is performed by Prakriti. Kriyamanani sarvashah. What is happening? Everything is happening because of whom? It is happening because of Prakriti. And yah pashyati tatha atmanam. So one who's seeing in this way, atmanam. So atma is not the doer. So sapashyati. So see how we should see that actually the material nature is the doer of things and the soul is not the doer of the things. So if you see in the third chapter where it says prakriti kriyamanani guna karmani sarvasha ahankara hi vibhudatma kartam iti manyate, right? So in that also it was, I think, 3.27. Yeah, 3.27, right. All the activities are actually carried out by the three modes of material nature, but the spirit soul, bewildered by false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities. So the spirit soul is, what is he? He is influenced by the false ego. And because he is influenced by that false ego, he is thinking that I am the doer of activities. That actually, who is carrying it out? The three modes of material nature are carrying it out. So actually, everything is done by Prakriti because of what? Ahankar, false ego. And this deluded soul, he is thinking that I am the doer. So that is the deluded soul. But here Krishna is talking about one who is enlightened, because he's going to transcend the three modes, he's going to transcend this, परम गति मिलने वाली है उसको. तो यहाँ पे जो है भगवान किसके बारे में बता रहे हैं? जिस व्यक्ति की आत्मा जागृत हो गई है, the one who is enlightened, one who is able to see things properly, who has a true vision, and this enlightened person can see the material nature is the doer. Material nature means only Prakriti. This material nature is the doer, and this deluded soul thinks that I am the doer. So जिसके पास सही विजन आ गई है, उसको पता है कि प्रकृति सब कुछ करवा रही है, प्रकृति is doing everything, the one who has a true vision. But one whose vision is deluded with ahankara, false ego, that soul is thinking I am the doer, I am doing everything. So why material nature and why not the Lord? Somebody was right? We do say that एक पत्ता भी नहीं हिलता है भगवान की मर्जी के बगैर. We say this, no? You must have heard so many times. Because till now one has not got that clear picture of how the Lord is interacting with the material nature. And this is about the Gyanis whose conception is just evolving, because this is a Gyan section and this is from a Gyani's perspective. So this Gyani's conception is evolving. A Gyani's vision moves from material towards spiritual, and they see that, okay, matter is primarily acting by its own patterns. And of course, Krishna has talked about from the perspective of bhakti also, Maya Dakshena Prakriti. And because the Prakriti is working under my direction, right? So that ultimately all the movements of Prakriti, it is happening under the supervision of the Supreme Lord. But Krishna here is talking about the Gyanis. And the Gyanis' focus is not on God consciousness. And certainly not the consciousness of the God also. You know, that, okay, the Supreme Lord is the controller of the world. And there the focus is to go beyond this world entirely and think about that transcendental spirit. So for them, the material nature is working on its own patterns. Therefore, there is no need for me to become attached or captivated and or become deluded by it. So the Gyanis think in this way. So that means that someone speaks very eloquently, looks nicely, these things are coming from Prakriti. Some can practice it also. But the point is, even if some species, even in some species, these things are given. So in general, these things come from Prakriti because of the actions from that particular Prakriti that is came. So, uh, material, somebody means, how to explain this. Okay, material nature is inducing lust, and then one is becoming a puppet to the lust. But at the same time, he is responsible also, and he has to face those consequences. So people themselves choose to become lusty, greedy, angry. They can have full control on their mind when they are angry. They can have full control on their mind when they are greedy. For example, somebody is very greedy for some different types of shoes or clothes or cars or houses, they can have control and they can think that way, that see, I have one house and at one point of time I'll be able to stay in only one house. Even if I have 10 houses, in one point of time, मैं 10 घरों में तो नहीं रहने वाला हूँ. I won't be able to stay in all those 10 houses in one point of time. At 10 o'clock, exactly, so and so person will be in all his 10 houses. That only can happen with Krishna in Dwarka. That Krishna is present with 16,108 wives simultaneously. And this is only the limitation of the Jivatma, that he cannot be present at one point of time at 10 different places. Only Krishna can be present. So, otherwise, to look at it is that if we are lusty, angry, and we think that I'm so fallen, that means we are identifying ourselves with our material nature. But we are not our material nature. I am the soul, and the soul has entirely different spiritual nature. And that spiritual nature is that I should love the Supreme Lord, I should serve the Supreme Lord Krishna. So there is a huge difference between this material nature and the spiritual nature. And to the extent we recognize, these natures, to that extent I will make advancement in spiritual life, and to that extent I will avoid this karmic entanglement, because कर्म के फल भी भोगने पड़ते हैं ना हमें. So if I want to identify with the soul, then I have to understand that yes, I may have that sickness of lust, greed, envy, pride, ego. I may have this infection which is, called lust or greed or whatever. And that can make me behave in a very terrible way also. But I have to understand that this is superficial to me. And at my core, I am very pure soul. And there is a periphery required, or there is a periphery which is impure, and this periphery can be removed. ये परत जो है, ये इसको मैं निकाल सकता हूँ, right? But for that I need what? I need Krishna's mercy. For that I should strive for that, right? जब हम कहते हैं ना causeless mercy, वो causeless mercy यूं ही नहीं आती है. That causeless mercy does not come just like that only. You have to endeavor for that. With the squirrel, when she was trying to put some pebbles, what exactly happened? That causeless mercy of Lord Ram came to that, oh, she is so tiny, mini, and still she's trying to put. And here is Hanuman putting big, big, rock mountain stones into that sea. But here is this little squirrel. She's also trying to serve me in her menial way. That has attracted the Supreme Lord. That attracted Lord Ram. And that's how she got that causeless mercy. So, when we see that our actions as product of that material nature, that doesn't make us irresponsible. There may be some certain reason, but I have my capacity to make those choices. So, when we recognize our material nature and it is enabling us to distance ourselves from whatever is happening by this material nature, and then we don't get entangled, so such a person sees that it is material nature, and this material nature will definitely act in a particular way. But to the extent I am identified with the material nature, to that extent, it will be further, or I'll be dragged further more and more into it. And if I don't identify, then what are the movements of this material nature? They will not fuel me further. Just for example, okay, we are passing by the road, okay, and I see a billboard, and some advertisement of some particular product is there, and I get allured. I may be having that particular product, maybe in a lesser, lesser way, you can say. But then I get attracted. And then, my mind starts reeling that now I want this, I want this, I want this. So at that moment, if you say, no, I have this thing and I don't need it, then you don't fuel your material nature. You don't aggravate it more. बोले ना कि अग्नि में ऑलरेडी हमारा नेचर ऐसे हो गया कि हमें ग्रीड है, लस्ट है, एंगर है, प्राइड है, लेकिन उसको और अग्नि नहीं देते हैं. अब ग्रीड का ऑपोजिट क्या है? सेटिस्फैक्शन. सो व्हाट वी डू इज वी टेल आवरसेल्व्स दैट नो नो आई एम सेटिस्फाइड. भगवान ने मुझे रोटी कपड़ा मकान दिया हुआ, आई एम वेरी मच सेटिस्फाइड विद दैट. So you don't fuel that greed again, right? And there may be, some, as I said, that basic bodily needs, you need a house and you need clothes and you need food. That is there. And, but I don't get obsessed, right, over it. So, like they are the goal and purpose of life. I recognize that ultimately I have to go beyond these things. I have to recognize my own spiritual identity and live in relation with that spiritual identity. So, what is my spiritual identity? Jivera Swarupoy Nitya Krishna Das. So, my spiritual identity is all the time I'm running towards Krishna. All the time I'm thinking about him. All the time I'm thinking about uske hit ke, जैसे Mother Yashoda, she's all the time thinking about Krishna's, welfare, and she's thinking about Krishna's, she's a well-wisher of Krishna all the time. She's all the time thinking about Krishna. Now Krishna will wake up and now Krishna will do this. So we also as devotees can think about Krishna all the time. Okay, now, Krishna has said in the Bhagavad Gita that, we should increase our devotional activities. We should do book distribution. Krishna wants that this book distribution activity has to be, pushed forward, right? So if you see all our, all our previous acharyas, they used to all the time think about their relationship with Krishna. And uh, all these, all the great souls, they have distanced themselves with this material nature. And they have pushed themselves more steadily towards, spiritual advancement as such. And if you see, Krishna also, has given us some way that how, can somebody be more dear to him by by spreading the message of the Bhagavad Gita. So, one who is explaining this Bhagavad Gita to the to the people in general who are distributing the Bhagavad Gita, and they will attain pure devotional service unto me. Like yesterday, we had gone to one school and we distributed somewhere around like close to 300 Bhagavad Gitas. But what we are trying to do with those students is that we are trying to teach them the Bhagavad Gita on a regular basis also. It's not like that we distribute and we move off. No. We have spoken to the authorities over there that we'll come to teach them some shlokas and some quiz and something will happen. So on a regular basis we'll be teaching them and we'll be holding a quiz. We've given them a question bank also, that okay, the quiz will be coming from this question bank. So what will the children do? They'll take these efforts to go ahead and find the answers also in the question bank. How we have this question bank for Bhakti Shastri, no, बाजू में लिखा हुआ है कि okay, the answer will be in this purport only or in this shloka only. So they will go and find out. In that way, at least these children will be actually reading the Bhagavad Gita. They'll getting that benefit as such. And when they will go and preach that Bhagavad Gita to others, that message, then what will happen? They will attain pure devotional service and they will go back to Krishna without any doubt. This assurance Krishna is giving in the Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter, 68 and 69. Even somebody who is not giving his time or who is not able to explain, but somebody who is giving his resources like money hai or contacts hai, that person will also attain pure devotional service to Krishna. So that person will become more dear to Krishna. Krishna is saying that that person, see, sometimes what happens now, all these big businessmen who are, very busy in their, jobs and all, what they don't have time to go ahead and preach to these school children or to people or to do street book distribution as such. But if they are supporting that cause, तो ओके ठीक है, मेरे पास टाइम नहीं है लेकिन मेरे पास पैसा है, तो मैं आपको पैसा देता हूँ, आई एम गिविंग यू मनी, you take this money and you distribute books on my behalf and you can teach them also on my behalf. So for that person also, that person gets benefit, is what Krishna is saying, that who is helping in this good cause, he will also get that benefit. Ultimately he will also attain pure devotional service unto me as such. So there are many devotees who actually, have a little busy schedules and all. And even if they are supporting the devotees in the temple, so they also get the same benefit. And Krishna is saying there is no person more dearer to me. I'm sorry, I just came up to the book distribution part because this is the book distribution month. Okay, let's go to the next sloka. Okay. So then he's saying that, So now he's saying that the focus is shifting from matter to spirit. And it is a deeper focus on the spirit. Okay. So then he's saying, Yada bhuta prithak bhavam ekastham anupashyati tat evacha vistaram brahma sampadyate tada. He's saying that when a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, he sees how beings are expanded everywhere. He attains the Brahman conception. Very nice, So, yada bhuta prithak bhavam. So, when he's seeing that, when one is seeing that there are many different bhavas, all the living entities have their own different bhav यानी nature. उसके पास जो है अपना खुद का एक स्वभाव भी है, बट एकस्थम अनुपश्यति, but one sees that ultimately they are one. And how they are one? They are all spirit souls. वो सब एक ही है. अब अलग अलग आइडेंटिटीज हो सकती है, कोई कुत्ता है, कोई बिल्ली है, somebody is a dog and a hog and a tree and fish and this all that, but They are situated in one. They are all spirit souls. And Brahma sampadyate tada. Then one has attained the um, uh, Brahman situation, and one has attended that, transcendental position as such. So here we can see that, just give me 1 minute, okay? Okay, this example is not there, but anyways, I'll give this example. See, you can say that example of the sun. The sun is, and there are many hundreds of pots, okay? So sun is expanded in many pots by its reflection. So there is one super soul, and from him all the other souls, material and spiritual energies has expanded, right? Yada bhuta prithak bhavam. So what we see is prithak bhavam. We are seeing, we are seeing some different material natures, but beyond this, prithak bhava is actually, or beyond this diversity of appearances, there is actually ekastham anupashyati. You see the one vision everywhere. Tata evam cha vistaram. See, from there, that diversity has come about, per the desire, the karma of that living being, and the sanction of the Lord. So, such a person can see this Brahma Sampadyate Tada. Such a person has attained this Brahman platform. Okay. Brahman platform means, he's seeing everything as equal. Everything is coming from the Supreme Lord. That way. So the whole idea is that he does not get captivated by this duality of this world. Brahma Bhuta Prasan Atma na sochati na kanchati. अगर सुख है तो भी he is okay, दुख है तो भी he is okay, right? So he does not get captivated by this duality of this world, and he's seeing beyond the duality of this higher realities. That okay, in this material world there is duality, but in the spiritual world there is no duality at all. There is no, there is no misery at all. There is only happiness. There is no lust at all. There is only love pervading. Here you have sometimes lust and sometimes love, right? But over there you don't have all these things. Okay, let's go to the next shloka. So in this 32nd shloka, they're saying that the soul is non-doer and is not entangled. This is what they're saying. So because Krishna describes that how one should see the spiritual reality. So, he's going to give some, two words, and he's going to expand on that. Okay. Anaditvan nirgunatvat paramatmanayam avyaya sharirastha hi api kaunteya na karoti na lipyate. So he's saying that those with the vision of eternity can see the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of material nature. Despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. This is the important line in this particular shloka. So, if you see, the first part of this verse is actually describing the transcendental nature. You know, nirguna. So the soul is nirguna, right? And anaditvam nirgunatvam. Adi is beginning, and anadi is no beginning. And when it is no beginning means what? The soul is eternal. And nirgunatvat, it is beyond the three modes of material nature. So this soul is beyond time, beyond modes, and so because it is beyond time and beyond modes, The common emphasis over here is it is transcendental. So, and then he's saying that Param Atmayam Avyayah. So, here the emphasis is not on the super soul, it is on the transcendental soul. ये आत्मा जो है हम लोग अव्यय, it is imperishable, मतलब or inexhaustible. You cannot finish that soul at all, imperishable. Anaditvam. Anaditvam means what actually? Ki it has no beginning and it has no ending. No beginning, no ending. So it is beyond time, space, and the modes of material nature. And that is why this particular soul is what? This particular soul is transcendental. So we know actually that the soul is situated in the body. Sharirastho hi api kaunteya. It is situated in the body, but when the person who is having that kind of vision, in the previous verse it is described, right? So, na karoti, na lipyate. This person who has that particular vision, then he is not bound and he is not entangled also. Na karoti, na lipyate. He does not, never does anything and he does not get entangled also. So, na karoti means the person does not act in any way which is going to make him entangled in the or bound in the material world. So, that person does not become bound. So, how that will happen is actually explained in the next verse, and how it flows is in the it said that everything is a combination. In the 27th shloka it is said, no, everything is a combination of matter and spirit. And after that he is saying that if you see the spirit is common everywhere, then our mind will not get degraded. And then how the soul is not so the soul is the doer and the body is not the doer, and that is why we are seeing oneness actually and the spirit beyond the diversity of these forms. So here it talks about if the soul is transcendental, how does it interact with this? That is explained in the next two verses here, but it is said that it is transcendental, and because it is transcendent, it is beyond time, space, and the modes. Therefore, this particular soul or the Atma, it does not become entangled. Let's see the next two shlokas. So please don't go away. There is a Phalashruti also coming up. Phalashruti means the benefit of hearing all these things from the Supreme Lord. यथा सर्वगतं सौक्षमयाद आक्षम न पलिप्यते सर्वत्र अवस्थितो देहे तथा आत्मा नोपलीयप्ये नोपलिप्यते. In the sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all pervading. Similarly, the soul situated in the Brahman vision does not mix with the body, though situated in that body. Oh, what a wonderful sentence this is. So, the soul will not be entangled because it is not doing the action with selfish intention. The word is na lipyate, never mixes, right? So, he's saying that यथा सर्वगतम Sakshmayad, है ना? Sakshmayad, when he's saying this, due to being subtle, right? So, when he's saying what is Sarvagatam, it is that Aksha, ether. And this ether is existing everywhere. Aksham means the sky or the ether also. Mana? And Aksham no lipyate. The ether is present everywhere, but it is not entangled. It does not mix around, right? It always remains transcendental. And then he's saying that sarvatra avastitah dehe. The soul is situated in different kinds of body. Tathatma no lipyate. The atma will not get entangled. So a soul is situated in different bodies, or different body means it's situated in an elephant's body, or it is situated in the child's body, but it is not affected. It is transcendental. So this is in terms of not being entangled as such. Let's see the next shloka. So here he is saying that, because the next two verses will describe that how na karoti, he's saying yatha yatha prakash krutsana lokam mimima ravi kshetra kshetri tatha krutsan prakashyanti bharata. He's saying, O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so does a living entity, one with the body, illuminate the entire body by consciousness. So the soul is illuminating the entire body by what? Consciousness. Just as the sun is illuminating the whole universe as such. So he's saying that yatha prakashyanti. And so there is, the sun. The sun is also called Ravi, Dinkar, and all that. What does it do? Kritnam lokam imam ravihi. It is illuminating the whole universe. Kshetram, Kshetri, Tatha, Kritsnam. Similarly, even the Kshetri means the Atma. If you see over here, the translation is Kshetri, the soul. Okay. This Kshetri is there. It is illuminating the Kshetra. It is illuminating the body, Kshetram, right? That way. So, one may see that the ether does not mix with the elements. The sky does not mix with the elements that are present in it. But does that ether get affected? We can say that the ether does not get affected. Ether is completely detached. But we see that the spirit affects matter, right? Or the spirit causes the changes in matter. So if the soul and matter are entirely disconnected, then how it becomes connected? Somebody might just wonder this, no? That how it is getting connected and how does it act together? So even many people have this, difficulty in understanding that how does this, they get connected, and how do they act together when they're connected? Because it is soul and matter, spirit and matter, they are getting connected, and how they are able to, so uh, this question has, make some the soul has to have some exile from this mainstream. And our Vedic philosophy is explaining that actually meditation is done uh, through the super soul. Super soul is controller of both matter and spirit. And the super soul gets the soul's desire to be transmitted to have that appropriate changes in that matter. So here the example, like, when the sun is very far away from the earth, and the sun not only illumines, but the sun also is activates. And when the sun rises, all the flowers are, blossoming, and the birds are chirping, and, the whole of that vegetation is coming to life. And this happens because there is a connection. But is the sun responsible if at some places there is, positive growth, and some places there is negative growth? When there is no sun at all, in the in the places where there is only snow going on, right? Some places good crops grow, some places there are weeds, right? So the sun is not responsible. The reason is that certain kinds of seeds are sown, so certain kinds of crops grow. So the same way, soul is illuminating the body with its consciousness, and the consciousness is the cause of activity happened in the world, just as the sun is illuminating the light. And of course, the Vedic science knows that not only sun but even the higher planets are also illuminating lights. So here he's saying that Krishnam, it is referring to our own worlds. It's not, does not referring to the heavenly worlds. It is, so it is just given an example to, give that particular point. So in the Subodhini also, if you see, so the consciousness is not a product of the combination of matter. It is a symptom of the soul. The consciousness of a particular body does not share with that of another body. But the super soul, who is situated in all bodies as the friend of the soul, is conscious of all the bodies. And that is the difference between the supreme consciousness and the individual consciousness as such. Okay. Let's come to the last shloka of this, and we might wind up over here. Oh. So Krishna is giving a Phalashruti over here to whoever has read this particular chapter of this. Okay. And this last verse is putting everything together. Kshetra kshetragnayorevam antaram jnana chakshusha bhuta prakriti moksham cha ye vidur yanti te param. Those who see with eyes of knowledge the difference between the body and the knower of the body and can also understand the process of liberation from bondage in the material world attain to the supreme goal. So see, he's saying that such a person, yanti te param, such a person will attain what? Supreme destination. And who will attain that? Kshetra kshetragni or evam antaram jnana chakshu. So Krishna put all these terms together over here, in this last verse. Krishna is putting terms from all those 6 questions that are there. Please explain me kshetra, kshetragnya, purusha, prakriti, everything. So with the eyes of knowledge, firstly we understand the difference between kshetra and kshetragna. After that, once you understand that there is something beyond matter and that is spirit, so can that spirit be liberated from that matter? That is why saying that bhuta prakriti moksham cha. How can moksha be attained? Once that is understood, that it is beyond matter, and that is spirit. So then he'll understand, then ye vidur yanti param. So then he will attain that supreme destination. So the process of liberation has been talked about from the 25th shloka to the 26th. And again, again he'll be speaking later on also in the subsequent chapters as such. So with that, we'll end. Because see, what is the Phala Shruti over here is saying that with the eyes of knowledge, Jnana Chakshu, what is the difference between the body and the knower of the body and the process of liberation, which means I don't have to entangle, I have to detangle myself from this material nature and go to my spiritual nature and attain the Supreme Lord. And this is the actually Phalashruti, that if anybody who understands this, then he will attain the Param Gati or Yanti Te Param. He will get the supreme destination as such. Okay. Anybody has any doubts, questions, queries?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Sucharita.
Mataji, is there any interrelation between karma that we have done previously and the 3 modes of material nature?
Yes, there is definitely an interrelationship between whatever karmas we have done and the 3 modes of material nature. But anybody who has transcended the 3 modes of material nature, then he does not come into the cycle of these karmas because he is detangling himself. He is not entangling himself, he is detangling himself. So see, when he says karmani nirdhati to bhakti bhajam, so anybody who's doing this bhajan, what is happening is previous karmas are also completely nullified. Yesterday, I was hearing one of these classes of His Grace Sanatan Dharma Prabhu, and he's saying that these karmas, uh, you know, uh, these karmas, or if somebody is, somebody wants to nullify his karmas, there are three things involved actually. One is his sukruti, how much sukruti ka balance he has. One is swacheshta. Swacheshta means what endeavor am I doing, right? And one is mahat kripa. So, till the time we do not have that sufficient sukruti with our previous karmas, if I have worshipped I have worshipped the Supreme Lord, how many, names I have taken of the Lord, how much services I have done, what is my endeavor, what am I doing on a daily basis? So, a cheshta means endeavor. How much? Then only Mahat Kripa will come, or the causeless mercy. That is why there is a prefix to that, word mercy. Causeless mercy, when will it come? When there is too much of endeavor involved. So, when that endeavor will reach to its highest point, then Mahat Kripa will come. Krishna's causeless mercy, or the spiritual master's causeless mercy will come. And that point of time, all those bad karmas will be completely nullified. But in some cases, there's an example. They say that if Krishna wants to show the world, then he will show it through his pure devotees. So sometimes, if devotees have a lot of miseries in their life, they should take it as that the Lord wants to show something to them, to the common man, that that I have the full kripa of, for my pure devotees as such. So in that case, if even if we devotees also, if we have got so many reversals in our life, like I had so many bad reversals in my life, so many challenges in my life, and I used to think that why me only? Many times I have to think, why me? But when we used to hear the classes of our spiritual master or our Shiksha Gurus and all, then we understood that yes, why me? Because I have done many things in my past birth, and I all blame it to my past karmas. And maybe Krishna wants to purify me. He wants to accelerate my bhakti, and that is why he wants to finish off everything in this one lifetime. And that is why so many obstacles, so many reversals, so many things are actually in my life. Means, to be very honest, the year 2001 to 2010, there was the most horrible years of my life. Most horrible years of my life, where there was so much of violence also against me. So much of physical violence also was atrocited on me. But in those times, I have never given up on my bhakti. I have never given up on my chanting. I intensified them more and more. I actually took it as the mercy of the Lord, that no, maybe, I am of such a character that till the time these atrocities will not come up to me, I will not take up Krishna conscious seriously. And in fact, in those years only, I took up Krishna consciousness very seriously. Very intensely, I took up Krishna consciousness, and then that became my second habit. Now I cannot live without it. Because why? Krishna gave me a very good experience or realization in those years, that yes, this is only reality. My connection to Krishna is the reality of my life. Everything else is just an imitation. Everything else is, not connected to me at all, and I should just be focused on, my relationship with Krishna. And those years actually gave me a lot of this, and in fact many devotees were also there with me to guide me and to help me and support me as such. But sometimes हम कहते हैं ना कि हमारा दुख हमें ही झेलना पड़ता है. So those 10 long years, In fact, the first 3 years were very intense. Every day domestic violence was happening, every day. But still in those times also, for me, there was there was Draupadi, was my, role model. That,
But
array,
how to deal with the pain, Mataji?
Draupadi was my role model that time. Hey, such atrocities was there, or Pandavas were my role model. At least I don't have, these difficulties that the Pandavas are going through. At least I don't have what Prahlad Maharaj went through. So in those times, these great devotees have given a lot of solace when I was reading the Bhagavatam. In fact, when I was even reading Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita also, that, array, I'm not going through what Prabhupada is going through. Prabhupada had so many challenges to print a particular book, or, to write books, or at least I'm not on road like what Prabhupada was at one point of time, that he's on road. He was like, in USA, it was like that ki up there is sky and down there is earth, and where to go now, At least I'm not in that situation. So, yeah, karmas definitely. But when you transcend the three modes and when you fixed in Krishna conscious, then Bij Roop se, from the seed, all the karmas are completely burnt away. Does that answer your question, Sucharita?
Yes, Madhuri. So, like, our previous karma gives us a body where we get, where we fulfill our desires. And once we get a body, means we come to this material world. And the moment we come to the material world, there are these three modes of material nature that we act. Either we act in sattva, rajas, tamas, or three of them are intermixing and we are acting. And then in this shloka also you taught us that, that sadasad yonishu, where Krishna says that we are just enjoying through the three modes of material nature. So then, it becomes difficult, like what what you said, like about your life. Actually, we see that, it is three modes of material nature acting, but we are so hurt physically, mentally. We have to take some actions also. But upar se dekha jaye, it's actually the interaction of the three modes of material nature.
Yes.
So we have
Originally,
to.
the soul is pure. The soul is not getting affected. The body is getting affected. The soul is not. If the soul, that is why when I always say na, that make Krishna your inner world. तो जब हम कृष्ण को अपना inner world बताते हैं तो बाहर से कुछ भी हो रहा है ना, पांडवास were not affected. Prahlad Maharaj was not affected at all. He was, if you see that movie also, na, he's nicely sitting, very nicely. He's, chanting the holy names of the Lord. Why? Because Prahlad has made Krishna his inner home. And that is why anything happening, he was least bothered because he had completely surrendered himself to Krishna. And that is why Krishna tension में आ जाते हैं. Krishna comes into tension. Arey, now what will happen? Now again, immediately Krishna has to come to save. Because that child, little child, is completely focused on his bhakti towards Krishna. That is why he is befikar. He's completely, not bothered what is happening to me. Everything. If I die, if I live, I don't care. My duty is to, just chant the holy names of the Lord. And that is why he was completely protected by the Lord. There was a shield of Lord Narsinghadev always, near him, that nobody could touch him. In fact, the one who was creating atrocities, got burnt. Holika got burnt. And Holika had got a benediction that she will never be burnt, but she got burnt. Imagine. Why? Because, Prahlad Maharaj is a very pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. And Pandavas also. Pandavas also pure devotee. They were not be able to burn in the Laksha Graha. Immediately they were able to get themselves released. Draupadi, imagine, Krishna came in the form of a sari. Krishna expanded himself in the form of a sari. Krishna can expand himself in any form as such, So that is how, we have to take it. And that is how we have to, if we make Krishna our inner home, then outside kuch bhi ho raha hai, my business is doomed, and I have no money and I will maybe go on a road, least bothered, because मेरे पास एक जबान दी गई है. I have been given a tongue to speak, and I have been given these hands to chant. Whether I am on road or whether I am in a palace, I will never be bothered about it at all, like as such, like, so that is.
Yes, that reminds me of one pastime of my Guru Maharaj. Where His Holiness Sachidananda Swami Maharaj asked, Maharaj, how are you? He's like, Guru Maharaj replies that I'm wheelchair bound. I cannot sit, I cannot walk, but I am so happy. I'm so happy. I think this is what I could
Right.
understand
Imagine
from.
2008, His Holiness Japataka Swami Maharaj has a brain hemorrhage. And there was not even 1% chance that he would survive. Not even 1% chance. But, see how Krishna is intervening. How Krishna wants that, no, okay, my this particular devotee, he's so dear to Krishna that, and even for the devotee, Krishna is very dear to him. So say, what is the lesson that we are learning from His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj's life, that there is no constraint. अगर किसी को भगवान की भक्ति करनी है, there is no constraints for these people. Body is not a big constraint, or being on a wheelchair is not an obstacle, or anything is not an obstacle in my life. If I really want to actually chant the holy names of the Lord, I want to serve the Lord, I want to establish my relation with the Lord. This is the biggest, example that we have in our movement, biggest example in terms of that, if somebody wants to do bhakti, there is no constraint at all for him. He can easily do it in any condition of his life as such. Like, so yeah. Anybody else has any question?
Mataji, Hare Krishna. So, Mataji, what is the next plan? Like, we'll continue with Bhagavad Gita, or we are going to start with Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu?
Yeah, we have another like 5 chapters more, Prabhuji.
Okay.
After these 5 chapters, we have Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu.
Okay, Mataji.
In Hindi, I'll be starting Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu from the next week.
Okay.
If you all want to attend in Hindi, maybe I'll add you in that group. Hindi is
Sure.
also, yeah. So,
Thank you, Mataji.
yeah. Hare Krishna.
Hare
What
Krishna.
are the timings, Mataji?
Hindi timings are Sunday morning.
What are the timings, Mataji? Hindi.
Hindi timings are Sunday morning, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. And very beautiful, so beautiful.
The same link, Mataji.
Same link, Prabhu.
Mataji, the same link.
The WhatsApp, sorry, what do you say? The Zoom link is the same, Prabhuji. I have only one Zoom link everywhere. I don't have any other Zoom links. So whatever is for English will be same for Hindi only. All Bhagavad Gita classes, every class of mine is the same link only, Prabhuji. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.